Good evening, fellas. Frankie Day here for Frankie Day's Models. Okay, guys, I put the Harrier away a little bit. I haven't been on the Harrier for a while, since the last video number 2 that I posted. Right now I'm kind of finishing up stuff I had started a long time ago. Here's a forgotten build that hasn't been posted for a long time on YouTube, because I had other builds I was involved in and things, and it's kind of like putting it away in the back burner, bringing it back out, and dragging it out of the closet, which I did here. This will be video number 8 for my 1936. No, 1936. That's when the kit came out. 1936. My 1936 Boucher Lewis, which is now Bluejacket 310 destroyer, in a scale of 196, 1/8 scale. This is the famed ship that fired the first shot of the entry of the event of Pearl Harbor, the USS WARD, and the DD139. And I believe I explained the history of this vessel during the first video when I first presented it to you great fellas out there to enjoy. Everybody knows about the ship that fired the first shot, and these 310 flush deck old four Piper destroyers were beautiful ships for their day, although they were ancient because they were made during the conclusion of the First World War. I believe the United States Navy commissioned between the Wilkes and Clemens class flush deck destroyers a neighborhood between 250 to 300 of these 310 flush deck four Piper destroyers, and a lot of them are being recommissioned back into the Navy, and a lot of them were given to Great Britain during the Lend-Lease program. I do know there's 50 of them at least that FDR gave to England during the Lend-Lease program, and because we had so many of them out there, they were see, one thing about these ships, fellas, when these things came out back in 1918 or 1919, 1920, within those 3 years when this ship first came out, World War I came to a conclusion. Again, the government was stuck with all these airplanes, ships, tanks, and also Army surplus, Navy surplus stuff, which they sell in stores and things. And so, at that time, Teddy Roosevelt was the Secretary of the Navy, and they asked him, what are you going to do with all these destroyers that we got left over? Are you going to scrap them? What? Oh, no, you don't want to scrap them. He said, we can use them for future wars. We'll just mothball them out. And a lot of the militarists and a lot of people and all the Joint Chiefs in Washington and everything, they said, huh, what kind of war? Things happen. Your friends now become your enemies. You never know about war. So these things were laid up in mothballs. They laid, guys, I tell you, kid not, they laid in mothballs for almost 20 years. That's a long time, having something sit out in the water that long. And virtually they were brand new, but they're withering with the elements of salt water and age. And during the event of World War II, when it first got started, we didn't have very much of hardly anything. We're actually using the stuff that we had for years past, and never had anything new on the drawing board until after Pearl Harbor came in. But the USS WARD was one of those Wilkes class four Piper flush deck destroyers, 310 feet long. He had twin screws. They can carry a ship's complement of 130 to 135 men, and not very many men aboard a vessel this size. And they were armed with 4-inch 50s, and the USS WARD had the same Army men. There's no machine guns, no nothing. All they had was heavy artillery, which is 4-inch 50s, 4 of them. When they spotted that submarine about 5 miles off the coast of the Channel, one of the gun crews right there, which were the Minnesota, the guys from Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, which is known as the First Shot Club. All these guys right there were stationed on this ship because they were naval reserves at the time, and they had orders to go for a year's cruise. So they had to go to San Diego and pick up the ship, and they picked up the USS WARD, out of San Diego in mothballs, and she went through a painting session, being repainted up and fitted out. A lot of parts were taken off this thing because they're taking parts off ships all the time. So the USS WARD was very fortunate; they got new parts. And right after Pearl Harbor, she was requisitioned as a high-speed transport. So they got rid of all her torpedo tubes and everything like this, and they went and put mike boats on there, LCVPs. And they carried anywhere from 250 to 300 troops. Aboard something like that. These things are fast transports, and what they did, these things were stationed in the islands. Like New Guinea, New Caledonia. That was a good naval anchorage out there at the time. And they go San Benito, Santos, all through the St. George's and Munda, Bella Vella, all through there. And they traveled all islands. Pick up a bunch of troops here, took them here and there. Where her demise, back in 1944, she was sunk by kamikaze. A twin-engine Betty bomber came in there and hit her and didn't sink her, but she was on her way down. So the United States Navy, they're afraid of getting in the hands of the Japs, so they scuttled it. Okay, guys, taken from video 7 of this. I got a lot done posted on video 7. I have I got the mast and churchlight tower all done. Starting the rigging on the galley deck house, and I got 6 torpedo tubes that I did already. I got to finish the plumbing on it. I'm just fitting it out with the parts, and I'll come back and detail it out as I go back aft. And she's a beautiful ship. She's painted in a measure of 5S, which was a dark sea blue, almost like a non-specular dark sea blue. And of course, later on in the war, they went back to grays. So here she is right there in her 1941 paint schedule. All dark 5S blue with N1, Norfolk N1 deck blue. And I got the mast all rigged up and everything on there. I got to attach blocks to the yards. They go all the way down to the flag locker after the bridge. Pointy stick time. Started with the rail work right across to here, and I got the complete starboard side. As you go aft right here, I made these torpedo tubes. All these torpedo tubes are made out of these things right here. Dowling. Using your modeling plans as a guy that make torpedo tubes, you transfer these little dudes into these right here. And I made this thing to rotate too, tubes, so they can rotate quite well. I got about 30 pieces on here. I made them out of paper and wood. And I got 6 more tubes, which down below here, I have to make those look like those here, and go on the starboard side and put 2 tubes there. And I'm gonna start putting more detail parts on here. We're aft on the supply after deck house. Also, we're gonna make a depth charge racks and everything. Gotta go back on the screw guards and finish up my detail work on my screw guards. So I got tons to go in this thing. But in an overall perspective, it's starting to look like a flush deck 4-piper destroyer. And this 4-inch 50 right here is movable. And got all the anchors all done right there. This model is an old kit, 1936. My dad had this kit for years since I was a kid. And before I was born, my dad had this thing. That shows you how old this model is. It's old like me. My dad had this before I was born. He bought this from Boucher and Lewis Playthings. He told me it cost $20, this kit, back in the Great Depression. My dad was in the Navy. That's how he could afford this thing. He got $21 a month, my dad said he got. Him being a minor, he had to send $10 home to his mother and father, and the rest he kept and did what he wanted with it. So my dad was always good in saving money. So he told me he saved enough money and he bought one of these. And it was in the box. He had intentions of building it, but never did. So when he passed, he put his arm around me and said, "You can have my collection, Frank." And he says, "For God's sakes, don't let it go. That thing's worth money, built or unbuilt." So this is the USS WARD right here. I got the lookout right there. I got the ladders made out of cardstock. Had to come out, took a long time to do that. And I got to pre-drill my stack, do all my guy wires on there, and I got to put my steam whistles, steam ventilations around through the pipes. I rig the seam. I got to run a trolley line. A lot of guys say, "Trolley line? What are you talking about, trolley line, Frank?" Well, fellas, you got to realize this thing here is a flush deck. The story is very low in the water, has very low freeboard, and it's a wet ship. If you're summoned to travel this portion of the ship all the way forward to the bridge to report to an officer, double time or traveling throughout the ship while this thing's underway, because this thing always rolled port to starboard. This thing was a rolling ship, and it rolled. So you had a trolley line that hooked up through here. It ran all the way through here up to that deck house. Now, there was a T-handle with a wheel that fitted on top of that trolley line. So if you want to get from the after house up to the bridge pronto, double time, you grab that T-handle on there and it'll slide with that trolley line. You can actually just slide, just like these amusement places where you get these mountains with these big old lines on there. You can hang and you can go right across. That's how it works on this, like a trolley line. The same thing on the old Eagle boats, those old Ford Eagle boats, PC craft, patrol crafts. They have those trolley lines on there. So that rigging will come last, but I got a lot of work to do. I got to prepare, install, and make new torpedo tubes on the starboard side, make sure they're symmetric with the others, using plans again. I'm constantly dusting all the time. I'm always dusting all the time. And behind it, you can see I got my flying cloud. I'm going to work on it too. I got that very carefully with visqueen on there, a little plastic wrapping to protect it from the elements. And I'll work on that too. So I'm going to try to finish up what I got on my plate, guys. I'm getting old. These things are getting old with me, and I want to make sure I get them done for it's time for me to expire from this planet, which ain't be no way too soon. I thought it was last week when I hit that guy's car. And I'm still going through repercussions of that. Okay, we'll take the camera back to yours truly and discuss what I'll be doing. Watch out for a big face and a small monitor. Yeah, here I is, fellas. Here I is. Yeah, we'll put... I'm gonna get me some cigars too this week. I'm running out of cigars. I ain't got none. Since I quit putting the cigars down, I haven't been coughing that much lately. Okay, guys, my intentions, I won't be doing. I'm going to be working on the USS WARD until when time comes near for the expiration date for Mr. Martin Lamit's 50th anniversary Hawker Harrier build. I'll hop on my Harrier and finish that up. I was thinking about making that United States Marines. It's hard to say, guys. It's at the stage of finishing up painting, so it's pretty well done. As opposed to the last video, it's got to be appreciated and painted up, and we'll see. Anyway, I'll have that thing finished before it expires, and I'll hop on the other one. But for right now, guys, I'm kind of really enthused on working on my USS WARD DD139, and she's coming along quite nicely. I'm very happy with this thing. I know my father would be very pleased if he's seen this ship. And he says, "Man, that thing came out of that box." I said, "Yeah, Dad, Sure did. That's what it looks like. He'd be very pleased. And so like I say, these old tin cans right here, these things been laying in mothballs for about 20 years, you know, and that's a long time, boys. And so back in that day, the Navy didn't waste anything. They used what they could use, and that was it, make the best of it, and hope for the best. And I'm hoping for the best for more videos this week, so I'll probably have video number 9. No, yeah, this is video 8. Yeah, this is video number 8. I have video number 9 for you. Okay, before I get out of here, you guys probably wondering how things are going with me right now. So far, I've heard nothing from his insurance company, and I heard nothing from mine, so I think both insurance companies says, well, they both let him eat the cars up. And so I don't think this guy had insurance at all or nothing, because I called Progressive Insurance and that to the claims department and asked him, has there been a claim lodged out already for a wreck that happened? They said, no, we don't know who this guy is. We gave him the policy number and everything. So he may not have any insurance. So that means he's got to pay for his own vehicle, and I got to pay for mine. So this week I'm going to be out hunting for another car, and get a hold of banks. I'm filing I want to get my money back what I've lost. I'm going to do all I can. If I can't, I can't. But the best thing of all, guys, I'm alive. Still here, still shaking, still kicking, still building. It's same old Frankie Day. And I can thank God up there as my co-pilot who saved my life that day. And I would like to thank everybody out there for your wonderful, I mean, it's really touching, guys. It really touches my heart really good up to here. And my wife is very well pleased and touched as well. So she said, I never knew you had such a host of friends, Frank. I said, Ruth, when you're good to people, and you always try to be good in life, good things come to you. I mean, you know, I'm not out there as a wrecking crew, you know. You got to have a human element in you. You got to be right. Do things right and good things come to you. That's what it's meant to be and should be. So, with a little grace of God, guys, and your guys' prayers and everything, things are starting to kick in a little bit for me. I'm starting to get a good omen and a good feeling inside my heart that something good's going to come out of this, you know. And it'll give me another second chance of life. And it's going to cost me a little money. But if that's what it takes to put me back in the saddle again, so be it. Okay, I'm out of here, and USS WARD says we'll catch you this one day this week. It's Sunday now, so I'll probably have another videos on Wednesday. A lot more progress will be done on this. So like I say, guys, I ain't got much more to do on this thing about fitting on the parts. I just got to make 6 more tubes, install, paint same, and add some details, and put the railings after everything. It's going to come real nice. And after that, I can rig this thing up and start really adding the details to it. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. This is the conclusion of video 8 for the USS WARD. And video 9 will be coming this Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. And Frankie Day probably has something else going on. And so as of now, this is it for me. That's it for the WARD. And so I'm going to continue shift's work on this thing and get going. Okay, I love you guys very much. You guys take care of yourself. Make mama happy. Drive safely. Take care of your babies and be good. Frankie Day out of here. We'll catch you guys Wednesday. Bye, boys.